My name is Jeff Smith, and it's my privilege to serve as Executive Director of Rush Homes. 2021 marks our 25th anniversary, and what a journey the last 2.5 decades have been. We love our Lynchburg community, and we love what we do. We don't just provide housing, we provide homes, all for people with disabilities. For portrait artists, for police officers, for teachers, for social workers, for healthcare workers, for veterans, for people in need. And we couldn't do it without you, our sponsors, partners, and community members. This may sound like a standard nonprofit organization cliche, but it's so true. From the bottom of my heart, and on behalf of Rush Homes, thank you. Today we're celebrating our 25th anniversary, even if the way we're celebrating looks a little different than we envisioned. Instead of hosting an epic party, I'm here on your screen sharing what's in my heart. I want to tell you about from where we came and where we're going. Our founders probably didn't set out to form a nonprofit. Years ago, a group of parents and passionate community members bonded over a shared struggle, finding suitable housing for their loved ones with disabilities. Many asked the question, what will happen to my son, daughter, family member when I'm no longer here? And so, 25 years ago, Rush Homes began as the Mabel Rush Housing Foundation, starting with a single home, Jimmy's Home, on Lynchburg's Berkshire Avenue. But as this group created a first and then a second home for persons with developmental or intellectual disabilities, it became apparent that the need was greater than originally anticipated. Something needed to change in the Lynchburg community for people with all types of disabilities. What about the person in a wheelchair? What about the person with a brain injury? And so many others. There had to be a way to make sure everyone, including all individuals and families with both low incomes and disabilities, had roofs over their heads that met all their needs. And that's how Rush Homes was truly born. We may have changed names and processes as we've grown, but our mission has never changed. We believe that everyone, regardless of income or ability level, should live in homes and communities where they can thrive. And it's been a wild ride to get where we are today. In the early days of our organization, our staff gained experience in created housing. Before I was involved, early Rush Homes staff and volunteers showed a lot of grit and resolve, figuring out how to create 13 apartments and houses through 2004. To be candid with you, it was hard back then. Solving a housing crisis doesn't happen overnight or even over decades. In the mid-2000s, Rush Homes hit serious stumbling blocks, a few dead ends, and had one big failure. Those years were difficult for us and we learned a lot. At one point, I believed we financially had 3 months left to operate. Driven by our mission, we took some major risks in order to shore up our finances and get people in homes. As a result, we lost some board members. We were on an edge and we decided to go for it. We decided against taking the advice of a bank and a state consultant who told us we should wait to create any more housing. Allison Wingfield, then executive director, and I looked at each other and said, we need to do this. We found a willing bank, put our heads down, and created 5 more homes called May Street Housing. Then in 2009, we took on one more risk, the biggest one yet. We had 75 people on our waiting list who needed housing, so we flexed relationships with funders, contractors, and lenders to find a solution. The risk paid off in the form of what we know now as Victoria Ridge. I remember going to the site and seeing the rebar for the foundation concrete unloading and thinking, my gosh, this is all happening, all $4.5 million of it. This better work. The reality sank in. Our mission was on the line. And it did work. With careful guidance and the generous support from our community, we were able to provide homes for people with disabilities when it seemed nearly impossible to do so. Volunteers and donors showed up for us in ways we never expected, and we were able to continue to provide housing for one of the most underserved communities, people with disabilities of all kinds. I remember when we were nearing completion of Victoria Ridge, I felt a sense of immense gratitude and relief, and our community found out about us. Our waiting list blew up to over 300. Affordable, accessible housing brings stability to people with disabilities who also have low incomes, and it was touching to see that our community agreed and donated their time and money to provide that housing. Because with housing comes health, with housing comes education, with housing comes security. With housing, people with disabilities can feel safe, stable, and thrive to the best of their ability. So yes, we took risks, but we take those risks again and again to serve our community, because when one of us succeeds, we all succeed. Lynchburg wouldn't be Lynchburg without each member of our vibrant community, regardless of income or ability level. When I watched a woman rise from her wheelchair on one leg to hug our property manager when she learned she was receiving an accessible apartment. When our staff discovered the blindness of a man in our apartments and went above and beyond to assist him. When I felt the weight of the recent death of a longtime Rush Homes tenant. Those are the kind of moments when it's easy to see why we do what we do. We are supporting people in need and giving them an amazing opportunity to change their lives. And throughout the COVID-19 pandemic, the real need for housing was revealed. We're doing everything we can to help out. Rush Homes is growing. We're increasing our staff to meet the current need and take advantage of the opportunities that we don't have the ability to meet now. We're building Florida Terrace, 31 more apartments. We're creating real impact, and again, we couldn't do it without you. It's my joy to personally thank our contributors, sponsors, and partners who make what we do possible. Thank you for walking with us on this journey. Over the past 25 years, Rush Homes has provided affordable and accessible housing throughout the greater Lynchburg region. We look forward to many more years in service to our neighbors and to your continued and generous support.